relations vein of our degree, we do study things like war, power, diplomacy, peace building. We look at the role of economic sanctions. We look at terrorism. We study terrorism and geopolitical insecurity, looking at cases even such as Georgia and the Caucasus as well. So it's a very rich profile of international politics, notwithstanding the three gentlemen pictured in this photo as well. We do think about sport and politics. Lots of our final year students, for example, I've been marking them this morning, are do wonderful dissertations, and they often focus on sport and politics, which relates into themes of identity, protest, violence, ethnicity, but also the role that institutions play. And we really encourage our students to be really critical thinkers from our first year. We want you to question, interrogate, reflect, and really, really take those political concepts that you're reading about and try to apply them and understand them in the real world. Another huge focus of our degree is gender and politics. That it threads through all of our programs and all of our modules, but we also have specific modules that are dedicated to understanding gender, such as politics of identity, which is a final year option, which really explores issues around representation, identity, and issues of ownership, rights, and justice. And this is led by my colleague Fidelma Ash, who has really been to the fore of researching this locally and internationally. So what do you expect if you join us at Ulster? Okay, we are a close-knit team in the politics team, and all of our students would testify that we know every single one of their names. They know us. They you know, the virtual doors even open at the moment. We're very accessible. We're accessible through our Facebook group, through WhatsApp, and we're very connected into our students. We focus very strongly on welcoming our students and to really encourage a sense of belonging. So our sense of belonging might come from having your own studies advisor, from lots of small group activities that you do with your class, even virtually. And we also have a very nice program of study visits and case studies that really help to embed you into our team. Politics at Ulster also has a focus on placement and employability. We're strongly committed to ensuring that our graduates go into graduate roles after they complete their graduation, but I'll speak about that a little bit later. We pride ourselves on the theoretical expertise that you gain during your degree at Ulster. Politics at Ulster has strong underpinnings in all of its modules on political theory. There's 2 modules that are core to your degree that are on political theory as well. And as I've mentioned, we really thrive on real world applied knowledge. We want you to be able to take the expertise that you develop, and even some of the assessments are not essays, they're not tests. Some of our assessments are written submissions to the House of Lords, to the House of Commons, to the Dáil. Some of our assessments are writing policy briefs for, our draft policy briefs for political parties. So, or case studies if you're working in an NGO. So we do lots of real world assessments as well that really prime you to go out into the world and to really change the world, because that's what politics graduates tend to want to do. Our degree profile, we offer politics in a number of ways. So politics and international studies, politics with criminology and international studies, sociology with politics and international studies, and then law with politics and international studies. So there's different pathways in to politics at Ulster. So do keep that in mind whenever you're making your applications and listing your choices. All of our research, or all of our curriculum, is research led. As I mentioned, all of the staff that work in the politics team are active researchers and publishing in books, in journals, in policy briefs. You know, we're all very active in producing textbooks and so on. So be assured that the team that you will come into and get to know, that you will be, you know, you're availing of the best in the field as well. Just so you know, I'll take you through the 3 years now of your study and discuss some options that you might have if you want to take a year placement as well. So in your first year, you every semester you study 3 modules, and so every year you have your 6 modules, and a successful completion of that allows you to progress into the next year. In first year, you have the opportunity to study Introduction to Government and Public Policy, but also really crucially, Introduction to the Study and Practice of Politics. And we think this is vital for anyone coming in to study politics. Some of our students have studied it at A level or in HE colleges, but lots of students are coming in and may not have studied it or any social science before. This module is geared to everyone, and it really offers a very practical dimension of the study of politics. And it's really well received by all of our students. We then give students the option of either studying sociology or social policy. And then we move back in second semester to really the political theory, democracy in the UK, which looks at the constitutional and democratic, as well as the political parties and electoral politics, and the NGO and civil society politics in the UK, and then into our module on international relations. The things that are really vital that I mentioned to you is that the politics team at Ulster are really keen to ensure that you feel a sense of belonging and you feel welcome. And we're creating special plans for that for September 2020. And hopefully we'll be all back on campus to be able to do some of that in September 2021, if that's whenever you intend to join. Part of our ethos is that we really try to make our politics practical. So we have lots of study visits. We have some to Dublin, we have some to London. We encourage lots of guest speakers in to give a short synopsis of what it's like to work on those particular areas that you're studying. Every student has their own personal studies advisor who tracks and is that touchstone for you as you move through your degree. We also have a very vibrant society life. So we have the Politics Society, Sociology Society, Criminological Society. We also have Debating Society. So there's lots of opportunity for you to be involved in your subject-specific discipline, but also to reach out into other societies. And it may be political parties, it may be your interests, but the Student Union has a really supportive society life that lots of our politics students are very well embedded in, and also have gained significant expertise in being part of student councils and student reps and so on. As I said, your first semester is very much focused on welcoming you, and there's a strong pastoral care element with the politics team. We really encourage all of our students to, if you don't have friends already in that peer group, then we really support and encourage our classrooms to be, even our virtual classrooms, to really build on friendships and a sense of belonging as well. As I mentioned, we do have study visits, and this is some Crumlin Road Jail, for those of you who recognise it, Westminster, and then we have Leinster House and a recent study visit before the lockdown to Dublin. So we really try to make sure that our students get a really interesting and vibrant sense of what political life is about, and we do try to embed that within the practice of politics as well. As I mentioned, political thought in your first year talks through, or you will learn about political thought, major ideologies, so the socialisms, the Marxisms, capitalisms, but also the implications of those. So it's a real study of all of the isms, and then thinking about why they're so significant over different points of history. After first year, again, as I said, it's a really diverse curriculum. Some of these modules are core and some are options, so we try to give our students a variety of choice to specialise in areas that they're really interested in, but also to explore new things that they may not have studied or thought about before. So for example, in second year, as I mentioned, politics of Europe, also populism. We have a comparative politics module around democracy and dictatorships. We have, if you're interested in the politics of these islands, we have modules in both British and Irish politics. And we have a compulsory module, which I'll speak a little bit more about shortly, which is a focus on placement. But we also, as I said, have options for international learning around state crime and the role of governments and international organisations in fostering and embedding terrorism and conflict processes internationally. As I said, we have a strong focus on employability. We encourage and have had significant success with programs such as Study USA, Erasmus, and also Washington Ireland, which is a program that you can apply to spend 6 weeks interning in Washington. And we pride ourselves on having graduates in that over the last number of years, and one in it this year as well. We do offer very personalised career development support, and as part of our work-based learning module, all of our graduates spend 36 hours, or they spend a full module developing their career prospects, working on their skills, developing CVs, and all of the assessment is geared towards your reflective learning. It's a really fantastic module. This year, for example, our students, even in ahead of the remote learning period, managed to achieve successful placements within the organisations that are listed here. And this is where lots of our students will go over a number of years, and then they'll embed that in. We also have the opportunity, as I mentioned, with Study USA, with work-based placements, to take the year out of your degree after successful completion of second year. And lots of our students will decide to do that as well. They'll take the full year to really work on developing their employability for after graduation. Final year then is a real opportunity to really draw on what it is that you've really enjoyed about your degree, and what it is that you're stimulated and motivated by in politics. And in final year, we have African politics, politics of identity, terrorism and political violence, and also the politics of deeply divided societies. We also offer options in memory in the nation, which is really exploring the role of memory internationally, whether that's in Serbia, Argentina, or in other European and international contexts. And then we have a really exciting module on race, migration, and ethnicity that we work with colleagues in social policy to deliver. So it as you can see, it's a really exciting program of diverse and interesting content. Deeply Divided Societies focuses, for example, on case studies of Sri Lanka, countries in the former Yugoslavia, Cyprus, Lebanon, and Israel-Palestine, as well as the Northern Ireland context. And it is an opportunity for you to really develop subject and case study specific expertise, as well as look at some of the issues around deeply divided societies and what actually are the issues around legitimacy, political violence, and ethno-nationalism that are very complex and difficult to resolve, as we know from the Northern Ireland case. So just to clarify, that's a little bit about our degree. And what I do want to clarify is our entry conditions. So I've listed them here. I'm not going to run through all of those, but typically it's BCC. There will be flexibility around these, and if you have any queries regarding any of this, you can put it into chat now and I'll try to answer it. But if I don't, I'll follow up with you after this session. But there is always flexibility, and I think it's always important that if you have any concerns that you would reach out to me as the course director for the degree, and I can discuss your unique circumstances with you. As I said, our requirements here as well, particularly for those of you who have English language requirements as well. So they're specified on these slides as well. We do request GCSE English language at grade C or above, but not maths, okay? The personal statement is important, but really we do look at your grades first, but do in your personal statement, think about why you're interested in politics, why you're interested in politics at Ulster, and if you do have questions on the personal statement, do feel free to ask me in the session, and you can pop it into chat as well. A big focus of our graduates always, and of their friends and family, is why to undertake a degree. This degree is not, we don't churn out lots of MLAs and counsellors. We have a fair few, which we do tend to bring back into the classroom from time to time. But we're here to ensure that whenever our graduates go out into the world, and they're in the world anyway because they're working usually through their degree, but we want to ensure that you have and you understand the knowledge and skills that employers value, and that you can recognise those in yourself as well. You will learn about research. You undertake an independent study as part of your degree in your dissertation. You really work on your communication and teamwork skills. You have a specialist knowledge of the political frameworks that influence all of our working lives. Lots of our graduates even go into employment as political advisors, lobbyists, into PR, into NGOs, into community work, into a whole range of even international organisations as well. So it's a very diverse employment field after you graduate. Here's some of the places that our Ulster Politics graduates go into, and you can have a read through those. 85% do within 6 months of graduation are in graduate employment or training. We also can see that some of our graduates will go into further research and go into do a further master's, or specialise in that sector as well, depending on what their interests are in. So they might go into postgraduate degrees. Some will even go on into places like social work after. But lots of our graduates naturally go into political parties. They work in the voluntary sector, in private sector employment, in risk assessment and risk analyst. So it's a very diverse, and if there's something that you are interested in working towards, it's always important that you speak to your studies advisor, to your year tutor, or to your placement coordinator, and see how best we can help support you to gain employment within that particular field. So I'm sure you have more questions. Now is your opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have about the politics degree, or about if you're coming in September 2020 or September 2021. So please do take the opportunity to ask me these questions now, okay?
Hey Marie, a couple of questions I have here, probably centered around the personal statement. And you're getting the homework done as well, like me.
I'm getting a no pass by my son, even though he was...
Yeah, that's it. The main thing would be personal statement, because this is always the question we get out of schools, and obviously our plan to something like politics, sociology, and so on. Are we looking here at more sort of aspirations within their personal statement, a real interest within the programme, within pursuit of a career connected to politics, or whether it be PR, lobby, advocacy, or communications?
Mm-hmm. Well, what we really look for in the personal statement, and I will stress that we really look at the grades first. But if someone's coming into us and we're looking at the personal statement, we will look for to see what their interests in politics are, and do they have an understanding of the degree at Ulster and what our specialisms are in, and then and they may not have, because it's not a very vocational subject, so they may have just one particular interest or two particular interests that they may wish to go into. So they may have had some work experience in school working in an MLA or a counsellor's office, and they've had some been doing supportive work there, and they might want to draw on that and say, look, I really enjoyed this time. It was 3 days working in this counsellor's or MLA's office, but what struck me was I was interested in the PR aspects, I was interested in the lobbying, I was interested in in actually responding to constituency needs. So it may be things like that that they wish to draw out, but it's really important to us that any potential applicant really understands the program and says, okay, well look, I attended this webinar, I watched this, I read a little bit about this on the website, and I'm really interested in this aspect of your degree. And then we can, we can at least understand that they understand what politics at Ulster is like, and that it's a suitable degree for them.
And just on that, I mean, I can imagine that maybe studying politics could be, obviously it's full of debate, full of different opinions. Does that make the classroom a lot more energetic, vibrant?
Yeah. So I've taught in a number of universities in politics programs, and politics at Ulster is a vibrant classroom. It's engaging, but it's a very safe space. It's a space where people can articulate different views. We always request and encourage our students to draw on evidence, to draw on supporting evidence, and to be critical in their thinking. So it's okay if you change your mind and that you evolve your thinking, but we have lots of debates in the classroom. We have lots of discussion. But some of the things we'll do, for example, I might ask students to take on different role play scenarios. So students have to act out a different perspective than they might have originally. So we do a lot of critical thinking and a lot of reflective thinking as well. So they are vibrant classrooms. They're noisy classrooms at times in terms of debate, but there's safe spaces to challenge our own thinking and the thinking of others. So, and that's what politics really is about.
And in terms of classroom time, I suppose in comparison to the other programs, what sort of hour count would a student expect to take up in a normal week?
So each of our modules per week are 3 hours contact time, and probably another 10 to 12 hours independent study on top of that. So it's a fairly full program of learning. We also have, as I've mentioned, other activities that will take up other time of students, whether it's society life or being a student rep or engaging in, either, obviously our students have a lot of part-time work going on as well. So typically, and we can make our timetables available, but typically we try to ensure that our students are on campus 3 or 4 days a week, so that they can make full use of the library and make full use of all the learning facilities available as well.
Okay, and just on the graduate movement, I suppose, have we had any, I suppose, if you want to call this, real success stories coming out of politics or relative success stories?
Yes, we do have, as I said, we have local councillors elected. We've had mayors, and mayors have come back in to speak to our graduates as well in the mayoral chamber and in the chain, and allowed our students to wear the chain and things like that. We also have senators, we have MLAs, and we have lots of our graduates who are working in the community sector, in the NGO sector, who are doing exceptionally valuable work and have made really significant contributions to not only the Northern Ireland context, but the both islands. And we do pride ourselves on the achievements of those graduates. We also have, as I've said, we have success with programs such as Study USA of Washington, Ireland. And what is also important is that the graduates who have graduated maybe 5 years ago, they're still getting in touch with the politics team to let us know how they're getting on, and they're happy to come in and give guest talks and to participate in developing the employability of our current students as well. And I think that's really important because networks are vital as well. So it's really useful that we can draw on our alumni network as well.
Okay, and just actually there's one last question here we had on careers previously. What and in terms of guest speakers coming back in, you have them come back in a program, I suppose, to give
Mhm.
an idea of day-to-day workload of politicians, of senators, of people within different careers as well.
Yeah, so we bring in our graduates, but they come in and they'll maybe speak with our students not only about the day-to-day working, but they'll speak about particular areas that they're working on. So whether it's labour rights, whether it's environmental issues, or whether it's community-based transformations. So our graduates will come back in and speak to our students in two forms. So it will be about specific areas of the curriculum, but also what life's like for them and how they've used their degree to inform their work. So it's a twofold approach really. We really benefit at Ulster from having the placement module, but also having a dedicated career support, a person who's dedicated to our students to help support their own personal development in careers as well. And I think Ulster has a really special dimension in terms of the career support that we have available to us. And that's been, just to reassure any prospective graduates, that's been consistent, even in this period of remote learning, where there's been Zoom calls organised, where there's been CV support, where there's lots of dimensions available to really encourage your employability
And
throughout
I
your
suppose just to finish off, there's no more questions coming through there from the Q&A or chat, but it's one of those questions we get asked all the time when we're at schools and careers fairs, and of course you've supported us then as well. But why would I choose politics at Ulster?
Well, as I say, Politics at Ulster is a fantastic program. I've outlined the different degree or the different modules that you can take. It's very internationally focused. It's got a strong element of theory and research methods. But what really is fantastic about Politics at Ulster is that we know each and every one of our students by name. We really have a strong pastoral care element, and we really value the opinions and the work and the research and the studies and the assignments that you bring in to us for assessment, and also in all of our discussions. It's a very interpersonal and it's a very team-based approach, and Politics at Ulster really does give you the opportunity to get to know us, to get to know the world of politics, and to really set yourself up for an excellent career after graduation.
Okay, that's fantastic, Marie. Look, thank you very much for taking us through today's webinar on politics. I'm sure all of you will agree. It was a fascinating insight into what is a very popular programme in the university. Now, just to finish off today's webinar, before we say bye, we have a huge range of webinars still to come over the next couple of weeks. And as mentioned, we will continue to offer these throughout the lockdown and probably even beyond that as well. As mentioned, these webinars are recorded so you can catch up on them at our website, ulster.ac.uk/events. And of course, you can also register on to future webinars that we have taking place this afternoon and beyond as well. Now, we did have open day dates confirmed for September. Slide up just to obviously provide evidence of that, but of course the likelihood is, I think, that we're not going to be having any physical type of open day, and we'll be moving that completely online in a virtual open day, offering more information about that will be sent out to schools and out to prospective students in due course, and will be available at our website, ulster.ac.uk/open days. Marie's already given you her email address. I'm sure you can search her through the Ulster University website anyway. If you have any qualification queries, you can contact our admissions office for Jordanstown there. Of course, that will be at 02890366309 or the email address admissions@ulster.ac.uk. For any other inquiries about the courses or throughout our portfolio, you can email us at study@ulster.ac.uk. A very good platform for prospective students to use to touch base with other of our current students is Unibuddy. So, for example, you could search for students who are on the politics programme, ask them questions about the course, the facilities, the teaching, why they chose politics, what their aspirations are, and that will hopefully help you connect and get a better idea of what your aspirations are in the future and to help you realize those as well. Okay, and guys, that's the end of today's webinar. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. Remember, of course, that will be available on our website to watch back as well. I would like to thank Marie for delivering the webinar today. And last thing to say, guys, is to keep safe, and hopefully we'll see you all soon at Ulster University. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye.